The weather is turning here in the Northern Hemisphere towards fall. And this time of year, I always start feeling cozy and like I want to do extra kitchen witchin'. So in this video, we are going to make a nourishing, tonifying body oil for the skin. And I make this every fall, and I usually make one bottle and it lasts through the whole winter. We're going to use organic sesame oil, and organic is really important. And sesame oil is revered in India as a powerful medicinal in all of its forms. And sesame oil specifically tonifies vata. And vata is one of the doshas in Ayurveda. It is cold and dry, and fall is cold and dry. So vata tends to be aggravated in the fall season. So we're going to use this 16 fluid ounces of organic sesame oil. And I'm going to put it in a double boiler. You could also use a crock pot. If you have a crock pot that has a warm setting, do that. The low setting on a crock pot is going to be too high, and it will eventually simmer or boil the oil. We don't want that. We want to keep it warm, but definitely below simmering. So I'm going to use a double boiler. That's my preferred method. I do have a crock pot that does warm, but I like this better. So I have my double boiler here. There's some water in the bottom pan to provide a little steam. And I'm just going to dump this whole bottle of oil in the top pan. While the oil is macerating on low on the stove, I might try to soak the label off of the outside of this bottle. I'm not going to get water inside of it. I'll seal it back up, because once I strain the oil, I'm going to pour it right back in here. So if I can get the label off, I'll like that better, so I don't have to look at it all winter in my bathroom. Yeah, it's going to need to get soaked to come off. Okay, and then shatavari is the main herb that we're going to put in this wonderful body oil. Shatavari is an Ayurvedic herb. Its other name is woman of 100 husbands, because it deeply nourishes the tissues, it supports the hormonal system, it keeps the tissues of the body plump and flexible, and generally provides strength and vitality. And really for everyone's systems, it's maybe a little bit more beneficial for women than it is for men, but this isn't like women only territory. It is high in phytoestrogens, which is beneficial regardless of what you have been told. There's so many xenoestrogens, xenotoxins in the environment, especially coming from plastic. And when we can keep our estrogen receptors full of phytoestrogens, which have a very low estrogenic effect, then that prevents those receptors from being filled with the xenoestrogens, which we don't want because those cause cancer. So this works on multiple levels to keep our bodies supported and juicy and flexible. And I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. Say like half a cup of shatavari. Now, last year when I made this oil, I put astragalus in it. Astragalus is a Chinese herb, and it supports what Chinese medicine calls wei qi, which is the energetic boundary that lives like just in and under the skin. I'm not going to do the astragalus this year because I just don't feel like it. I want just the pure lady business of this particular recipe that I'm making. But if you feel like you want extra energetic boundary support and immune system support in the, kind of current illness intensive paradigm, you could add some astragalus root to the formula. However, I am going to use rose petals. I just got some fresh pink rose, freshly dried, fresh batch of dried pink rose petals from the local bulk herb department. They smell really good. That's what you want to look for with rose petals. You want to make sure there's a nice aroma that lets you know that they are vital with medicine. So in addition to smelling good and being beautiful, rose petals are astringent. And so is shatavari actually. So like kind of will help tighten up the skin. And then I also have lady's mantle. This is left over from last year, and this is kind of a lot, but because it's a year old, I'm just going to go ahead and dump it all in there. And lady's mantle does a similar thing. This area, the décolletage, is also known as the lady's mantle, and this herb is known for nourishing the tissues of this skin and the breast tissue as well. So I'm going to start this on low until the water gets hot in the double boiler and starts steaming, which is what's going to keep the top pan hot or warm. And then once it gets hot, I'm going to turn it down to warm. If you have a gas stove, you might not be able to get it low enough for it to not simmer. You can use, there's like a diffuser that you can put on top of the gas stove that makes it even less hot. That would be a good option. Or like I said, a crock pot on warm, not on low, on warm. Not all crock pots have a warm setting. So nice and low, and then you'll want it to cook for at least 4 or 5 hours. I say at least 4 hours, and I tend to let it go like all day or overnight. And then right before bath time, I will pour the herbs and oil into my strainer with a cheesecloth here. And so this cheesecloth is stained from having strained other herbal tinctures and whatnot. I tend to just use one that you can use them over and over again, and the herbs will stain them, but then they get clean. And so then I tend to just use an old stained cheesecloth, because after this, I'll probably just throw it away. It'll be saturated in oil, much harder to get clean. So right before bath time, I'll come pour the whole concoction into this nice, I have this nice glass bowl with a spout, this nice metal strainer, and a cheesecloth. I'll pour it in there and use a rubber scraper to get everything out of the pan and into the cheesecloth, and then let it strain while I'm in the bath. And then, sad for you, I won't video this part, but after my bath, I'll come back out here and tie the cheesecloth and squeeze it to get all the rest of the oil out that I can, and then I'll have oil all over my hands. So then I'll oil my body, and then I will pour with a funnel that oil back into the bottle that it came in, hopefully with the label off so it can be cute. And then it will live in my bathroom, and after every bath or shower that I take this fall and winter, I will oil my skin with this beautiful oil. It does take about 10 minutes to soak in. You don't really want to put it on and immediately put on like tight leggings, because then your leggings will get saturated with oil. That's kind of gross. So you want to give yourself some time. You want to make sure you have a little time to like let it soak in. It is by far my favorite moisturizer. I think the only reason I don't do it all year round is because I don't get the impulse in the spring to make body oil. I get the impulse in the fall. And lotion is kind of easier to deal with in the summer. But yeah, nourishing, tonifying body oil for you. So I hope you found this helpful. And if you enjoyed learning about the nourishing, tonifying body oil and you want more support with your self-care, help yourself to the Get Your Shit Together checklist, which I will link in the description below the video. Enjoy!